Okay, wetlands are water that either covers the soil or is present at or near the surface of the soil for at least part of the year. Water may be flowing, standing, fresh, salty, or brackish. It's very productive. It serves as breeding grounds for insects, fish, amphibians, and migratory birds. Migratory birds are just birds that migrate. Wetlands. There are three main types of wetlands. First, there is freshwater bogs, which bog is dominated by sagram moss. It forms in depressions where water collects, and water is often very acidic. Freshwater marsh, which is shallow wetlands along rivers. It's underwater for all or part of the year. Often contains cattails, rushes, and tall grasses. Freshwater swamps are water flows through a swamp. It looks like a flooded forest. Presence of trees, brush distinguish a swamp from a marsh. Estuaries. Estuaries are going to be wetlands where rivers meet the sea. It's a mixture of freshwater and saltwater. It's affected by high and low tides. Shallow sunlight penetrates. Primary producer is plant and algae also. Chemostatic and photosynthetic bacteria are there. Serve as spawning and nursery ground. Estuaries. The estuary food web differs from land ecosystems. The primary production is not consumed by herbivores. Organic matter enters the food web as distrutes. Clams, worms, sponges eat distrutes. Saltwater estuaries. Temperate zone estuary. Salt-tolerant grasses above the low tide land. Seagrass is the underwater grass. Mangrove swamp estuaries are tropic zone estuary. The saltwater tolerant trees called mangroves, and they are valuable for nurseries for shrimp and shellfish. Marine ecosystems. Marine biologists can divide the ocean into zones based on depth, distance from shore, and light. Marine ecosystems have phototropic zones, which surface to a depth of 200 meters. They have photosynthetic producers. Apophytic zones are below the photic zone, and it's primarily dark, so these are going to be the chemosynthetic producers. We have the intertidal zone, which organisms are exposed to changes. They're high tide, which submerged in salt water, and then low tide, where it's exposed to sunlight and temperature changes. Organisms are often withstand strong waves and currents. Then we have the intertidal zone. Zonation is due to the competition among the organisms in the intertidal zone. Horizontal bands of organisms that live in a particular habitat are these intertidal zones. So here's just an example. We have the spreadlefish, the upper intertidal zone, the middle intertidal zone, lower intertidal zone, and the subtidal zone. This is where different things live. Coastal ocean is from the low tide mark to the outer edge of the continental shelf. Often it is entirely a phototropic zone, rich in plankton and other organisms. It has kelp forests, communities of giant brown algae, which quickly grows. And that's kelp, and you can see it on the shore here when it gets washed up. Coral reefs are found in warm, shallow water in the tropical coastal ocean. Open ocean begins at the end of the continental shelf and extends outward. It's the largest marine zone, and organisms adapt to high pressure, frigid temperatures, and total darkness. Bathic zone is the ocean floor, and that is the coastal ocean through the open ocean. Organisms depend on the ditches floating down from the photic zone, and near the deep sea vents you will find chemosynthetic primary producers. So here is what you'll have to answer on your conceptual understanding. You can just copy it down. We have the continental shelf, the intertidal zone, ocean zone, benthoic zone. Here's all the other zones. And here's the depth of the ocean. Remember, it depends on the depth of the ocean. And that's the end of the slideshow. Have a great day.